Okay, wow. I love it. When it comes to the whole video game world and atmosphere, I often find myself distracted by trends. Most recently, upon seeing the widespread success of competitive multiplayer gaming and battle royales like Apex Legends, which I'm personally not a huge fan of, I wondered if there were still as many good single-player games being made. I quickly remembered all the amazing titles that have come out in the past few years, and to further remedy my dumb brain, I went out on a whim and bought Devil May Cry 5. And as you might be able to guess by this whole lead-in, it was really good. Even though I've never played a single game in the series before, the whole experience practically served as a big glowing reminder of why I love playing video games. I was instantly absorbed through its writing and overall design. It has an interesting but not too complicated story mixed with memorable and witty characters, all wrapped up in a beautiful little bundle with incredible gameplay and a jammin' soundtrack. And I usually don't comment on graphics in video games too often, but damn, this game looks good. And the environments, oh my god, it's so good. Except for some of the demon tree stuff. Like, I'm okay with the enemies, but what is this shit? Oh, dude, no, don't put that there, that's gross. Although Devil May Cry 5 has plenty of connections to the overarching lore of previous games in the series, it was still super enjoyable even though I had practically no knowledge going in. The game includes a summary movie in the main menu to get you up to speed, and charismatically introduces both new and returning characters throughout the game. Each mission in the game consists of hacking and slashing through rooms of demons with a unique boss fight at the end, and each of the 3 playable characters have different fighting styles and weapon choices to make combat with even the simplest of enemies feel engaging and rewarding. Points and ranks are rewarded based on how little you get hit and the different types of creative combos you can string together, so unfortunately you can't just sit at the other end of the room and slowly fire pistol shots at all the enemies. To give you a better idea of how deep the game's combat system goes, let's start by looking at the game's main protagonist, Nero. Due to the loss of his arm shortly before the events of Devil May Cry 5, Nero can equip a wide variety of robot prosthetics known as Devil Breakers. Along with allowing Nero to pull enemies or grapple straight towards them, each of the various Devil Breakers has its own unique powers. You've got weapons like Mega Man's Buster, the Insect Glaive Jump from Monster Hunter, literally just a pasta fork,
That's amore.
and my favorite Devil Breaker, Punchline. It shoots a rocket fist that just beats the shit out of enemies, and you can call it back to ride around on it like a hoverboard. This is probably my favorite weapon in the game. It's ridiculously fun and serves as a great example of why Devil May Cry's combat is so entertaining. Despite its seemingly serious nature, the game has a lot of creativity and humor, and the fighting styles and weapons reflect it. And how better to demonstrate more of this through the series' original protagonist, Dante. As a dude who practically treats deadly combat as a game, Dante can use weapons like a big sword, a shotgun, punches, kicks, or just a whole ass motorcycle. An entire motorcycle is a melee weapon. I mean, I could learn super cool and complicated combos utilizing the different skills I've unlocked and weapons I've collected over the course of the game, or I could just press circle repeatedly to do the breakdance move.
I'm on fire!
And finally, we come to V, who is quite different from Dante and Nero. V is a weak boy not accustomed to fighting, and instead relies on the demons he summons to do battle for him. He's got a bird named Griffin for ranged attacks, and a panther named Shadow for melee. And V can also, he could read a book. But once he's done with his reading homework, you know his best bud Tommy's coming over to play video games.
Whoa, is that the new Smash Bros? Oh, let's play. You got 2 GameCube controllers? Hey, do you think your mom's gonna let us sleep over?
Because of the insane amount of options the game gives you when it comes to approaching each fight, I was breezing through the first few missions on Human, which is apparently the game's version of easy mode. Eventually, I was like, you know what? This game is too easy for a pro gamer like me. So I switched to the main difficulty, Devil Hunter, and died a whole bunch. I still get Devil May Cry, yeah, I am really bad.
I so guess that Devil May Cry. Yeah, I am really bad and I don't know why you'd watch this. I didn't even show all of the times that I died.
Throughout its 20 main missions, the game never felt like it was getting stale or repetitive. It manages to keep things interesting all the way through, presenting you with new weapons and characters, which in turn allow you to unlock even more skills with the red orbs you collect. All of this, coupled with some great music and an incredible ending sequence, solidified Devil May Cry 5 as one of the best single-player games I've played in the past few years. Normally, I'm not the type of person to play through single-player games more than once, but learning each boss and mastering new combos and weapon styles was so enjoyable that I might just give it another go sometime on a harder difficulty. And that's where I think the magic in this game is, at least for myself. Although Devil May Cry 5 took me a little under 10 hours to complete, which might be considered tiny in comparison to massive open world games, overly lengthy RPGs, or the near infinite replayability of modern multiplayer games, it still felt like a worthwhile purchase. Sure, I may have blown through it in a couple days, but at no point did I need to grind or watch an incessant number of cutscenes for a story I didn't care about, or fight in a way that felt boring. And after clearing the main story, I don't even think I've unlocked half of the available skills, and I only found a few of the game's secret missions. If I had to list one complaint about Devil May Cry 5, it'd probably be the online co-op feature. If the networking feature is enabled, it replaces the AI in certain missions with real players who picked a character other than your own. When it works, it's pretty seamless and reminds me of Journey, where the multiplayer experience is integrated so as to not ruin the immersion or storytelling. But for it to work, the other players you're matched with need to have a decent internet connection, and if they don't, do you get where I'm going with this? Stop, this sucks. So if you're looking for a single-player game practically exploding with style, memorable characters, and a ridiculously complex and rewarding combo-based fighting system, I definitely recommend Devil May Cry 5. The game takes itself seriously when it needs to, but is also great at demonstrating that it doesn't take itself too seriously. I give this game an I'm on fire out of 10.